Good morning, everybody online. This is Blind Justice on the streets of Aberdeen, Washington. And this is day 39 of our peaceful protest. Resting is not a crime. Sitting out front City Hall once again. And just wanted to briefly speak on public officials / public servants, right? And supposedly they're supposed to work for the public, right? They're supposed to be our employees, right? You are supposed to be the boss. And you get to tell the public officials, no, that's not what we want. We want you to do this. Don't do that. That's not going to help the public. That's not going to help the community. This is what we want you to do. So that's how it's supposed to be set up. But we've been finding out recently that's not necessarily the case here in Aberdeen. And so that's, it's not unexpected. It's just kind of the state of affairs here in America today. I think it'd be great if, public servants would actually serve the public, even to the point of competent people that don't get paid, right? So it's actually truly a service to the public. I think that'd be pretty neat. Find people that want to volunteer to actually better the community just for the sake of bettering the community and not for a paycheck or some form of prestige for a title or whatever, right? So the word entitlement gets thrown around a lot, and ironically it gets thrown around towards the people that don't have anything, right? This is where it's so twisted. The culture and the understandings become so twisted that the people literally with titles, literally entitled, that's what the word means. It means that you've been given a title, right? When it was a verb, it means to, a king would knight someone, he was entitling that person, right? He was giving them a title. So that's where that word comes from, people. Like, literally you have a title, which means you think you have some kind of power or prestige where you can rule and tell other people what to do. That's entitlement, the true nature of the word. Not the other way around that has been twisted to where the people that don't have anything, and people say, well, they're acting entitled to the resources. Like, no, they're a human being. They are expected to be able to get natural resources to live. That's just kind of being alive on the planet. If you're blocking them from getting scraps, which is what happens, like people scavenge for scraps, then you're blocking like human life, human survival. Usually because of the entitlement. Not on the behalf of the have-nots, but on behalf of the haves. Have the sense of entitlement, say, oh, we have this, we worked for this, and this is ours because somebody gave me this. My daddy gave me this land, and my mama gave me this name, and this is who I am. And I went to the school and they gave me this degree and I'm entitled to this, this, and this kind of respect and this kind of prestige. And like, that's entitlement. That's what true entitlement means. If you look up the definition, look up the etymology of the word, that's entitlement. Expecting some extra things because you have some name or some title attached to you. So that's interesting because that played out yesterday. If you watched yesterday's videos at the Founders Day Parade and event. Yeah, so we were initially rejected from walking in the parade with our own group. We submitted the paperwork a few times and we got rejected by the Founders Day Parade Committee. They said our contact information was incorrect, which is just fascinating. I don't know, which means they either had our contact information, in which case, why do they need it? Or how can you tell somebody your personal information is incorrect? Part of the issue, we think, was because that on the form it said mailing address, and we filled out for mailing address, general delivery in Aberdeen, which you can do. You can put general delivery on your city, and you can go pick up your mail at the mailbox or the post office in that city, as long as you have a valid ID. Anybody can do it. That's what a lot of people on the street who don't have a physical home address do. So we were denied for that reason, which sounds like the Founders Day Parade Committee is discriminating against homeless again. So that was sad. We submitted, some emails back and forth saying, hey, what exactly do you think is incorrect? Can you point this out? We would like to, try to work this out so we can walk in our parade with a group of people, under the Blind Justice name or logo or whatever. And so no, they were just like, your stuff's not right. This is our final decision. And kind of stonewalled it. So we walked to the back of the procession yesterday morning, and were invited to join another group that had open slots to walk with them. And it was the Out and Proud group. So shout out to you guys. You guys are lovely people, beautiful people, and just open and accepting people. And it's wonderful. So we walked the parade, and by the time we got done, we found out that we were set up. We had other friends setting up our little tables for petitions, so we wouldn't join that at the corner of Wishkah and Broadway. And then, just a few minutes after that, council person Karen Rowe, gathered up a posse of APD officers and came over to confront us and try to show that she was entitled to the the block or something. I don't know what exactly her mentality was. It was. You can watch the video and maybe reach out to her in dialogue and find out what were you thinking, because yeah, it's just fascinating. She came over trying to order us off the sidewalk. It wasn't even actually the sidewalk or the road. It was a pedestrian bulb out, technically. So, yep, just sitting there with the family. And another piece of irony is like, this is a family-friendly event. Like, yeah, I'm sitting here with my family peacefully, talking to people, talking about the issues in the city, and talking about rights and freedoms. And then she comes over yelling at me and my family, telling us we had to leave or pay the ransom to stay. And we're like, no, we're not going to pick any of the options that you gave us. We're going to stay here because we were legally within our rights. But when I said you need to have the law, like, what law are you enforcing? And she said, well, I have them. They're behind me. Look, these guys right here. They're the law. Like, that's not how that works. Like, just because they have a title, law enforcement officer, doesn't mean that they are the law. This isn't Judge Dredd. I am the law. You're not Sylvester Stallone. You can't just go out and be judge, jury, executioner. There's a process here, right? And it's sad that she doesn't know the process here. She's supposed to be an elected official that's legislating, like making these laws, right? This has been a constant thing. We saw it with Tawny Andrews when we had an interview back here on this bench. We saw it a little with the mayor with our interviews with him. And we're seeing it with other council people. And it's like, what is the mentality? Is it, oh, I'm in a position, I'm entitled, I rule the city, I run the city, like the people work for me? Like, this is a weird, backwards understanding of how this process works. Like, no, you're a public servant. You serve the public. Not your own agenda, not stuff to make your business thrive, right? Which was, we called out a few city council meetings ago that one of the intents, it's actually literally written on the memo the mayor sent to the APD on how to enforce this sitting ordinance. The intent is to help the development or help the local business district thrive, right? Not exact words, but that's the idea. That's what he's saying. It's to help the businesses downtown get more money. One of the main business owners downtown that rallies the businesses is Karen Rowe, is one of the city council people. So it's conflict of interest. We call that out before they voted. It's like, hey, she needs to recuse herself because she's voting on something that directly impacts her income. And she didn't. And the mayor defended, that position, that she didn't have to recuse herself, even though he recused himself when it was turned out that he owned Tesla stock when he was proposing building a Tesla station in town. So there's all kinds of weird, screwy stuff going on here at the city government level, and city officials thinking the public work for them. Like when Bill Cedar came out here and assaulted my daughter and me. Like that's not how it works. Like, no, you ask us for something and we said no. We are your boss. Like, you asked us if we can move our signs down. You said you had a reasonable request. Your reason was that there was damage to the flowers. We asked you to inspect it. You said, oh, there's no damage. you invalidated your reason. It's no longer a reasonable request. So then we say no, right? If they had a reasonable request for us to move off the bowl belt, like you're blocking traffic, or you're causing a ruckus, or people are afraid of your family, you know, they'd have to like prove that there's a reason for them to be afraid or something, right? Show that their actual reason was valid. But if they didn't have a reason, it was just, I don't like your presence, leave because I have a title. That's not how this thing works. This is a free country, supposedly, right? Yeah, we have rights in place to protect us from stuff like that. And when you exercise your rights, you stand up for your rights and the rights of the people, for the public officials typically don't like that. Now, I will give credit where credit's due. The APD guys and gals have been respectful, have been peaceful, actually, towards us these whole 39 days. We've had multiple encounters. We haven't recorded all of them because a lot of times it's just, hey, how's it going? You doing all right? And I don't know that they're an officer because I can't see. We're just another guy talking. And so, like, further in the conversation, they tell me what's going on. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. It's like, I got a call to come out and check on you. Oh, cool. Well, I'm fine. Thanks for checking on me. And we chat and talk, and it's pleasant. It's been like that every time. With the city officials that work out of this building, not so much, right? We've had Bill Cedar from Code Enforcement. We've had Karen Rowe. She doesn't necessarily work at it here, except on council meeting days, and I guess any other committee meetings she works on. But there's a lack of understanding, a lack of education here at the city level. And that's something that we called for in emails. You can find those emails that we sent to the mayor about, hey, please educate your staff on how to peacefully engage with the public, how to serve the public, right? As public officials, public servants. And basically his response was like, we didn't do anything wrong. My employee that went in and attacked you and your daughter was perfectly okay. He was well within his rights to do so. And we're like, no. You guys you've lost it. Like, you've lost complete objectivity here of what your role is as a public servant. So they're impoverished, right? That's the word poverty again coming up. They are impoverished on understanding of how the system works, of how public service works. And so we're here to help enrich their lives, give them education, information on how to peacefully interact and serve the people without abusing the people. And I know that's really difficult because the nature of govern means to control, and the ment is a system, so it's literally a system of control. It's really hard to run a system of control peacefully without, force. They're kind of contradictory. So we're trying to help re-educate and inform not just you, the public, but all of you, the public. So that includes public officials, public servants, because they are part of the public as well, right? Eric Larson, the mayor, is part of the public. This page is open to the public. When we post things in the paper about upcoming events, rallies, and invite people to come out, that's an invitation to the public, including the mayor. So the sense of entitlement has been switched, right? You see how that word has been co-opted by power players to say, oh no, the poor that are trying to say they need stuff to live are entitled, when actually the word origin is people that were given titles, and then because they have titles, have some magical power to control and dominate other people. That's the actual origin of the word. It's alright, I'm done ranting. You guys have a lovely day. And I think the rain's going to hold off. It's been cloudy. There's a little drizzle on the way this morning. But peace and love to you. We'll be doing petitions. I have one out here with me. Maybe going door to door later today. Maybe get the guitar out and mess around and play some music. Share some love. Spread some love in the city. Alright. Deo presto liber, everybody.